Hello, I'm Leonard Maltin, and I'm delighted to welcome you to this Fathom Events screening of my all-time favorite movie, Casablanca, courtesy of Warner Brothers. It's been my favorite since I was lucky enough to see it for the first time in my teens on a theater screen. That was in the late 60s, when the youthful counterculture discovered Humphrey Bogart and lionized him as Hollywood's perfect anti-hero. And especially in this film, he was. Bogart had been making movies for more than a decade when this one came along. A Broadway veteran, he flopped on his first trip to Hollywood in the early days of talkies. He returned in 1935 to recreate the character that made his reputation on stage, gangster Duke Mantee in The Petrified Forest, starring Leslie Howard. Howard said he wouldn't appear in a film adaptation unless the studio hired Bogart to play opposite him. Forever grateful for this gesture, Bogey and Lauren Bacall named their daughter Leslie. In order to take the job, Bogart had to sign a 7-year contract with Warner Brothers, which meant having to take whatever roles they assigned him. He was typecast as a bad guy in almost every picture that came down the pike. Some good, some not so good, some downright awful. He even played a menacing cowboy opposite James Cagney in The Oklahoma Kid. Things took a turn for the better with High Sierra in 1941, and that same year, John Huston made his directing debut with The Maltese Falcon and insisted that Bogart play Detective Sam Spade. Finally, a starring role in a genuinely great film. Casablanca followed in 1942, offering the actor his first chance to be a romantic leading man. The source was an unproduced play called Everybody Comes to Rick's. The screenplay was written by the witty Epstein brothers, Julius and Philip, and Howard Koch, with uncredited contributions by Casey Robinson. These were all talented men, and producer Hal Wallace knew how to get the best out of them. But then everything about this film is superior. The dynamic direction by Michael Curtiz, the cinematography by Arthur Edison, whose career stretched back to the silent movie days. The production design, the costumes, the montages by future director Don Siegel, and of course the music by the great Max Steiner. Yes, it's true, he didn't want to use Herman Hupfeld's song As Time Goes By. It was written in 1931, and he wanted to create something original, but he was overruled. Steiner's score adds emotional underpinning to the film at every turn, and the use of As Time Goes By is inspired. Then there is the cast, absolutely perfect from top to bottom. Ingrid Bergman, Paul Henreid, Claude Rains, Conrad Veidt, Peter Lorre, and on and on. No matter how small the role, every person who utters even one line of dialogue is colorful and interesting. And the patrons of Rick's Cafe aren't just plain refugees. Most of them actually were. When someone asks me why I love Casablanca so much, I say it's got everything: romance, suspense, humor, topicality, and a point of view. But if it had been made 6 months later, it couldn't have gotten away with the sardonic humor that permeates the script. The US didn't become involved in the war in Europe until December of 1941. So an early 1942 production wasn't yet consumed by blind patriotic fervor that marked so many subsequent Hollywood pictures. Casablanca won 3 Oscars, for cameraman Arthur Edison, director Michael Curtiz, and as Best Picture. It is of its time and yet somehow ageless. As Warner Brothers celebrates its 100th anniversary this year, it is properly treated as one of the studio's crown jewels. Whether you're seeing it for the first time or revisiting it, you've got a feast of entertainment ahead of you. So sit back and enjoy Casablanca.